Hi, Samuel Watson. Welcome to 10 by 6.
Hi, thanks for having me today.
No problem. You well?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. We've invited Samuel onto the show this week just to talk about an amazing idea that he's got in terms of opening an alcohol-free pub in Weymouth Town Centre. And in these times, obviously, with mental health issues and alcohol issues, what a great idea. Over to you, Sam.
Thank you very much. So my name's Sam. I'm the founder and one of the directors of Dry Dock CIC in Weymouth, and we're looking to open an alcohol-free pub in the middle of town. So the concept's come about because I've suffered from my own struggles with alcohol addiction over the past 10, 15 years. And I've now taken the decision to not drink at all. And I was looking for the opportunity to create a venue for like-minded people to get together and be able to enjoy all the things we used to enjoy in pubs. So a pool table, a dartboard, live music, all of it there, just without the alcohol. So by no means are we specialising just for people who are in recovery. The idea is that anyone who wants to be able to go out into our town centre and have a good night without the alcohol. I've dealt with my own struggles with mental health as well, and so there's a big community feeling throughout the whole project about creating a safe space for people who are perhaps only coming through mental health problems, and they are perhaps unsure of themselves to go into big, busy town centre pubs. People who are perhaps a little bit unsure about being around those big groups of people and those rowdy people. So that's the idea. I grew up just outside Winchester, and we had a village pub, and that was the hub of the community. And if you needed to know something that was going on in the village, that's where you went to. If you needed to get a job, that's where you went to. If you needed a plumber or an electrician, you'd find someone there. And I like the idea of recreating that community feel. We're looking to use one of the many empty retail units that are in Weymouth Town Centre, so that we have got a venue that's accessible to lots of people. We're looking to work alongside Andy's Man Club and the Veterans Hub in White Regis. And there's other mental health charities that we're looking at working alongside to help create that feeling of inclusion for people that have perhaps become a little bit marginalised. So that's the idea with the project. The whole idea came to me when a friend of mine approached me a number of months ago asking for some advice about their own relationship with alcohol. And I said, that's great. I'm more than happy to talk to you. Let's meet up. And we said it needs to be in the evening. Didn't want to come to my house, didn't want to go to his house. So we said, okay, well, let's go to a cafe. Cafes don't open in the evening. And we were left with this situation where, well, what do we do? In the end, I rented a meeting room, which is great, worked really well, but wasn't what I was looking for. I was looking for a relaxed environment to talk to someone a little bit privately about what was going on with them at the moment. So I felt that the best solution was to create my own space, create my own venue. The beauty of it being a community interest company is that it's in no means out there to line my pockets or to line the director's pockets. Any money that we do make throughout the business gets paid back into the business and enables us to do more events to help people who are in a similar situation with mental health, with addiction, just people who don't want to drink. There's a lot of people these days who just don't want to drink. There's a lot of people who are talking about the health risks of drinking now. And I think having that space on our high street is a really positive way to move forward.
Oh, it absolutely is, Sam. And it's also interesting listening to that. I don't know whether you're aware of this, but it's like a sense that you have to justify that you're not lining your own pockets when you're doing something that doesn't engage with alcohol. And yet anybody who sets up an establishment where alcohol is very much at the core, they don't apologize for it in terms
No.
of making a profit. So it's almost as if when we're dealing with people who are let's say, at risk, shall we say, or vulnerable, we almost have to clarify first that this isn't about us making money. And yet, the very institutions that I would say sometimes feed off that vulnerability, they have no recourse to thinking about it being a profit-making enterprise. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I do totally agree. And a lot of it comes about because I've had a massively positive response through social media, through standard media, and 99% of the responses have been positive. There's been 1% of people who have turned around and said, oh, well, that's just another expensive place to buy soft drinks. And I've been very, I've tried not to be defensive, but I'd like to educate people that that's not what the concept is. The concept is about creating a safe space. It is about creating a space for people to socialize together. It's not about ripping people off by selling them soft drinks at an extortionate price. And I want that to be very clear to people that that's not what it's about. We're looking to stop speciality alcohol-free drinks, so alcohol-free wine, alcohol-free spirits, alcohol-free lagers, alcohol-free bitters, but on the basis that it is a project that's for the community, and that the heart of the project is in the community. It's creating that community space. I'd love the idea I'd love it if the idea was to move forward in the future and people came and said, we'd like to set up the same sort of thing in our towns, in our cities. But in the forefront, it's something for Weymouth and for the people who are here.
Yes, absolutely. And engaging with anything that's community centered in an age in which we've probably spent the last 4 decades dismantling communities is vitally important. But I also think it's probably important for people like yourself, who talks about mental health issues. We probably need to get away from responding to the 1%, don't we? Because
Yes.
it's the 1% will always, or 10% or 20% or whatever statistic people want to come up with. There's always going to be negative voices out there. There's always going to be people who are putting other people down for launching something like this. And it's the people who will benefit from it who are the ones that we need to focus on.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And I think it's just trying to put across that it's that media face. It's that being able to show that this is what we're doing and explain to people that the 1% are maybe misled in their feelings and their thoughts, and allaying those problems. And the 99%, I welcome with open arms. And as I said, the response that I've had through Facebook and Instagram and media, and through the articles that I've had out in the news, through emails, through businesses, has just been absolutely astronomical.
Oh, right,
And
that's amazing.
I was having a meeting with someone that's going to be involved in the project at a coffee shop about a week ago, and some people came up to me and said, I recognise you, and I can't really work out where from. And I was like, I'm not really sure. I don't think I know you. And they said, oh, have you been in the newspaper? I said, yeah, I'm trying to set up an alcohol-free pub and safe space in town. And that's an incredible feeling. I spent about half an hour talking to these guys, and they were adamant that they would come along once we get open and everything else. That's an incredible feeling to have. And it's so polarizing of the people that we're aiming to serve.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Tell us now, Sam, about what it is that you're having to do to prepare for the opening. You know what it entails for you.
So we're looking at premises at the moment, and we're sort of 95% there with premises. Although I'm never going to say that anything is certain until I've got a copy of a lease in my hand and a set of keys in the other hand. When the premises is finalised, then we've got a refit to do to make our venue look like a pub. So that's going to take some time, effort, and money. I'm very fortunate that we've got lots of tradespeople behind us, lots of trades and skill and volunteer labour that are all getting behind the project, and they're saying, okay, yeah, as soon as we've got somewhere, let's get started. And we'll get the paintbrushes and the rollers out, and we'll get the plumbing and the electrics sorted out, which is really great. We're looking to hold a mental health awareness day in about 6 weeks' time, and as part of the mental health awareness day, we're going to be doing a sort of try before you buy evening at one of the local cafes on Portland, where we're going to have a live band, and we're going to be getting in alcohol-free drinks that we would be selling in the dry dock for people to come along and see what the atmosphere is like, to see what it's like, to see what our concept is. I know it's not a massive hard sell, because I'm sure people can understand what it's like to go out and not have a drink. But there are people who do turn around and go, well, it won't be the same seeing a live band without having a pint of beer. And it wouldn't be the same going out on a Friday night without having a drink. And I'd like to start to explain to people that there are other options. And by creating that atmosphere and that feeling, but just without the alcohol. So we're using that as a fundraiser and an awareness raiser to enable us to get the business up and running, and to move forward.
Fabulous, fabulous. Just before we finish, have you thought about the issues probably around people who come into the dry dock who have been drinking and have gone to other places first, and would that be an issue?
It's going to be something that we have to gauge very carefully, and on the very surface of it, in the same way that intoxicated people aren't allowed to go into pubs and bars and restaurants under licensing laws now, then that's going to be very much similar. If someone's intoxicated, then no, they're not going to be let into the building. But I think we're going to have to be very careful to allow things to be an organic process as to where we get to. Because if we become very hard and fast, then someone who's gone out for the evening and had a meal and had a glass of wine with their dinner then comes to us to see some live music, I'm not going to say I don't want you to come in because you've had a drink. But I also don't want heavily intoxicated people stopping it from being the safe space that I want to create. So there's a line and there's a balance that we're definitely going to create, and it is something that's very much at the forefront of my mind. Yes. That it's very much about that safe space, but being inclusive to everyone who wants to come and enjoy that space.
Yes, absolutely. It sounds amazing. It truly sounds amazing, and like you say, it will be an organic process because there were very few of these types of establishments around to learn from. But the ones that are around, we can learn from, and also we can help others to learn as we proceed. So it's absolutely amazing, and it's fantastic. Absolutely. Fantastic, Samuel. What a brilliant idea. And thank you so much for coming on 10 by 6. And I really do hope that you'll come on regularly and keep us updated.
I'd very much like that. Thank you very much for having me today.
Our pleasure. Absolutely our pleasure. Thank you so much.